They are often called simply the four chaplains. They were four Army chaplains from different traditions who willingly laid down their own lives that four other soldiers might live. We remember them on this Memorial Day. This is their story. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Monday, May 26th, 2025. The story is as short as it is tragic. In the early morning hours of February 3rd, 1943, the troop transport SS Dorchester, a converted passenger ship built in 1925, was torpedoed and sunk by a German U-boat off the coast of Newfoundland. Of the 904 men aboard, just 240 survivors were recovered from the frigid North Atlantic waters. Of the rest, the majority died quickly from hypothermia. The air temperature that night was 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The water temperature was not much warmer, just 34 degrees. At that temperature, a person will lose the ability to move after 3 minutes. Loss of consciousness occurs in 15 to 30 minutes, with death not far behind. The tragedy was made worse by the fact that the torpedo rendered the ship's steam whistle inoperable and all electricity was lost, leaving most of the troops and crew in the dark with only minutes to escape. The loss of electricity also meant no signal could be sent to the other ships in the convoy. The sinking of this particular ship might have been largely forgotten to history, like the hundreds of other ships sunk on the journey from America to Europe during World War II, except for the presence of four men. Among the troops on the ship were four freshly minted first lieutenant clergymen who had joined the chaplain corps, trained together, and had become good friends. They represented very different religious traditions: Roman Catholic, Methodist, Reformed, and Jewish. George Fox was a Methodist minister from Lewiston, Pennsylvania. When just 17, he joined the Army and served as a medical orderly in World War I. He earned not only a Purple Heart, but a Silver Star and the Croix de Guerre. After the war, he completed his education, eventually becoming ordained as a Methodist minister. Alexander Goode was a Reform rabbi who earned a PhD at the Johns Hopkins University in 1940. Goode was married to Teresa Flax, the niece of comedian Al Jolson, and they had one daughter. In 1941, while serving as a rabbi in York, Pennsylvania, he found a multicultural, interracial, and multi-faith Boy Scout troop, which was the first one to award Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish merit badges. Clark Poling was a minister in the Reformed Church of America. Upon graduation from Yale Divinity School in 1936, Poling became pastor of the First Reformed Church in Schenectady, New York. In addition to his wife Elizabeth and son Corky, Poling left a daughter who was born 3 months after his death. Father John Washington was the son of Irish immigrants to America. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, Washington served as an altar boy. He was also a talented athlete. After college, he studied at Immaculate Conception Seminary at Seton Hall University and was ordained to the priesthood in 1935. In 1942, these four men were all transferred to Camp Miles Standish and entered chaplain school at Harvard, where they became close friends in spite of the wide differences in religious traditions. Then, in January 1943, they were assigned to the ill-fated troop transport Dorchester. When the ship was torpedoed in the wee hours of February 3rd and the lights went out, panic ensued. Survivors report that the four friends calmed the troops down and quickly guided them topside. Because of the threat of U-boat activity in the area, the ship's captain ordered everyone to sleep in their clothes and life jackets, but many of the troops took theirs off, some because they were uncomfortable to sleep in and others because of the heat of the engines. So as a result, when many of the troops reached the open deck and didn't have their life jackets, fresh life jackets had to be handed out. Unfortunately, there were not enough to go around. The four chaplains, George Fox, Alexander Goode, Clark Poling and John Washington, took their life jackets off and gave them to 4 men without life jackets, effectively sealing their own fates. They might not have survived the frigid water even with life jackets, but without them, they had no chance of survival, and they knew it. And yet, eyewitnesses claim that as the ship went down, they could see and hear the chaplains praying for the troops in English, Latin, and Hebrew. Jesus said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Practically no one alive today would have ever heard of the SS Dorchester, but the bravery and sacrifice of these 4 Army chaplains ensured that it will be remembered in perpetuity. There are many, many people to remember on Memorial Day. Today, let's remember these 4 selfless men: George Fox, Alexander Good, Clark Poling, John Washington. Now may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.